Okay, so now that we got all of our hammocks done, we are going to start working on pouches. One of the pouches we're going to do is a parachute pouch. Now this is going to look an awful lot like a square hammock, because it essentially is. So I cut out two 14-inch squares, one of fleece and then one of flannel. We're going to put right sides together, and we're going to make it exactly like a square pouch, or a square hammock, sorry. There's going to be a small difference in this one. I'll show you that just a second after I get this pinned together, or clipped together, because I'm using Wonder Clips. Because I love Wonder Clips. I'm going to turn my machine on so it's ready. I can see my flannel is a little bit bigger, so I'm going to trim it in just a second. But the big difference between the square hammock and this one is one of the tabs we're going to cut is going to be longer than the other tabs. So let me go ahead and get ready to trim this up real quick. Sure, I trim it as much as I need to on the first go. Trash. Clip, 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 clip. One. Clip two. Okay. So, like I said, we're going to use 3 of these and one like this. And it doesn't matter where this one goes, on which corner, it just put it on one of the corners and do the same thing. Clip the corners, so it's really an octagon and not a square. But once you get done sewing it up like everything else, then I'll show you why you used a little bit longer tab on one of them. Okay, so I will see you back here in just a minute after I sew this one up. Okay, so we sewed up the giant 14-inch hammock. That's going to be a parachute pouch, and the reason we got this long tab here is that when you're done, you're going to thread the long tab into the other 3 short tabs. Okay, so that's one. That's 2. I think I made my tab a little bit too short, but it might be just long enough. Let me get a safety pin to help me. I have one here. Oh, here it is. So I'm using a safety pin to help me get it through. Oh, put it on the wrong one. Haha. So we're just gonna use that safety pin, get this last tab through. Okay, so now we got all three of our tabs in. I'm going to take the safety pin off. Then we're going to take one of our C-links or whatever it is you use, and it will fit snugly onto that top tab. And then you have a parachute pouch, pretty decent sized parachute pouch, that will hang comfortably from one tab from the top of your cage. I tried doing this with the regular ones and putting four of these onto each tab, and it didn't look nice and it didn't hang right and my gliders wouldn't use it. But this way everything's all nice, tucked in, nice, it looks good, the top is nice and closed, and it will hang nicely from one hook and your gliders will still have access to it. And it's a pretty decent sized pouch. And this is good if you have a pouch protective glider. You reach your hand and your glider instantly bites you. These are really good for that. And this would probably also be good for my chewers who there's no corners for them to find and make a hole into. But I'm sure they will still find a way to make a hole in it. But that's why that extra tab is. You might want to make the long tab a little bit longer than this one and make sure that your other tabs are also tall enough to get the long tab through them all without struggling with a safety pin. Or you can keep a safety pin handy whenever you're getting ready to put this in your cage for that purpose. Or you can make this tab, the long tab. You can get the bias tape maker and make a skinnier strip, and that will also help a lot too, because if you make a skinny thick strip, it'll still have enough integrity to hold by one hook, but it will be easier to thread because it'd be like almost a cord. You could probably also use what they call 550 cord. If you were in the military, you know what it is, and they make those knotted bracelets with it. You could probably also put little loops of cord on that. Your gliders might chew them. Mine would. I know they would. But this way, you know, you can have your nice little parachute pouch. It looks all pretty and cute. Got little elephants. I like little elephants. And then we're going to start making our regular pouches, our non-parachute pouches, our sack pouches, I guess you would call them. So, there is that one. Okay. So, I'm going to make all three of the pouches together because a lot of the elements are the same, except for a couple of them are a little different, so that's up next.